Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 8:35 on Thursday, the 24th of August. August is nearly done. At this time of the week, it can only mean one thing. You join the Grifter and I for House of Property, a report from the coalface of estate agency, business, and all things property. It is lovely to see you. Maybe you're catching up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you may get your podcasts. Maybe you're watching us live on YouTube or even on Facebook. Whichever way you have found us, it is lovely to be in your company for this few minutes of a week. Hopefully you'll get one thing out of it that will improve your business, career, or job. I know you wish I could do this alone, but I would never want to. I would always choose on a Thursday morning at 8:35 to spend my time with the Grifter, Katie Griffin. Good morning, my darling. How the devil are you? Rate your week.
Good morning, Martyn. Thank you. That's just over a minute introduction. You are getting better at this. Big tick. Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. The sun has been shining. It has gone now, sadly. So lots and lots of photography done, which is really, really good. Rate my week. Oh, got to be an 8.2.
Oh, wow.
An 8.2, yeah, an 8.2. So I have found, okay, that we need to rip up those newspapers and the headlines, and you have to take each micro market of this evolving property market, and you have to, well, my stats are showing that I have listed more properties in August than I have at any point this year, a time when it's traditionally a lull in the market. Wouldn't you agree?
No, you fluked it, Duff.
It's a quiet time. It's meant to be a quiet time.
Now, conventionally, August is a quiet time, isn't it? And that's sort of M in transactions and activity, where it grows in the spring, peaks in the early summer, drops over holiday period, goes hopefully back up in the autumn and drops down for the winter. Feels like that normal pattern has returned post-COVID. But I don't think that your success is down to just anything to do with the market. I think it's probably to do with the foundations that you've been putting in throughout the year that is now bearing fruit. So I think that's a good thing from your point of view, but I don't think that's necessarily what the market is reporting across the country.
No. However, it's extremes, isn't it? So I've put one house on at just shy of £1 million, and we've got 16 viewings on it, and I've got 4 full asking price cash offers. Cash. When we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, and when people don't have any, and when house prices are meant to be falling, well, clearly they are not. Yeah, I know
cash, or cash on mortgage, or cash on sale, or
proper cash. And with our online offer forms that we now do, our buyers who are offering can actually upload their proof of finance and their digital passport and documents. So it's all held in one place. So when we are dealing with multiple offers, we can make sure that we are comparing apples with apples all the way down the line. So I'm loving my new online offer reporting, and our clients are loving it, and our buyers are loving it, because they know that big criticism of estate agents, you never put that offer through. Well, actually, yes, we did, because you've got confirmation that it's come in, it's date and time stamped, and it's working really, really well. So it's really.
I didn't know you were doing this. Is this something you third-partied in?
It is something I've third-partied in. I've been using it for a little while. We started off using it for lettings, just to try and absorb and try and help my really, really tired and hard-working team deal with the influx of inquiries on the letting side. And so it's a little questionnaire that auto-responds straight away. Little questionnaire goes out to potential tenants, and it asks just a few more questions. Have you got a dog? Is it just for you? Have you got any children, a partner? All of those things. Where do you work? What's your income? And they can upload their proof without having to get a credit report or anything like that done at the first sort of stepping stone. And then from that, we've had a little sort of pre-qualification AMBLE questionnaire, and we can then call them, check that up, and book in a viewing. But the online offer forms are really, really good, because it's asking the same questions, and you can't get through the next screen. I think there's 4 screens in total. You can't get through the first screen until you've put everything in. So sometimes, because we're only human, you might be going, oh my God, yeah, we got an offer. Whoa, yeah, we got an offer. What's your situation? Oh, right, yeah. And you forget to say, where is your house? What is your agent? Who is your broker? This form keeps you back on track. Yes, you could print it out, but actually, aren't we saving the dolphins, Martyn? That was your big thing. We're saving the dolphins. So we're not printing out lots of forms, and we're trying to do it in a more green and what's the word? A more green and efficient way.
Yes, very good. I like that. Which actually leads us on to what I think is the main topic of the day. The show is called "Should We or Shouldn't We?" And this is something that is really fascinating, I think, at the market at the moment, is how much should one or should an estate agent be promoting their brand or promoting their product in terms of the house that they're looking at selling. And conventionally and traditionally, you would see maybe a corporate brochure or about us pages on websites, but they seem, and then you'd have sales particulars. But they seem to be merging as agents seem to be promoting themselves within their particulars as much as their properties. That also leads us on to, are sales particulars a thing of the past? Which for me they probably are, which I think would be interesting. So I'd like your opinion, please, Griffin, on should sales particulars include a lot of commission styles, brand selling about the company, or should it all be about the property? And are those bits of paper and those glossy brochures just something from 1984 that nostalgically we like to keep hold of because a bit of vendor vanity?
Oh, let's have a heated debate.
It's a challenging question of the week, isn't it?
Let's have a heated debate. Okay, so first of all, should you put some blurb in your marketing brochure or property details? Because you say product. I never say that a house is a product. Makeup is a product. My iPad is a product. But the thing we're selling is a property.
I wouldn't say it to a consumer, but I know. But for the example within this podcast.
Okay, all right. Well, I've come across it, and it's coming more and more and more. Is I always say it's about the house. Okay, it's about the property you're selling, the home. But I'm seeing a lot more blurb about us. Why instruct us? Have you got a house to sell? And it's merging a bit, and it made me think. Do you know what? I'm not doing it. Is this right or is this wrong? Because sometimes when I pitch, and I don't know whether you do the same, and the listing is already on with another agent, I will use that agent's marketing particulars, bring them along, and often go, look, there's more on them than there is about the description of your house, and use it to win business. Vicious. Yeah,
right.
I know, but it's not vicious. It's actually saying, do you know what? This agent is thinking more about themselves than about your property. However, at the moment, I put nothing about my company into the brochures, and the more I see it, the more I think, do you know what? I think I should. So I'm actually I'm changing my stance, and saying, do you know what? I think I am going to put a little bit in about my company or a little bit in about my business, but in a non-salesy, non-commission way. So not we've got a inspiring international business, or we've got 482 offices in Devon. More about we're a long-standing company, we're professional, we're regulated, you can trust us when you move with us. More that.
Okay.
So I'm switching.
You have to be careful, don't you? Because there has to be a level of relevance in there. And actually, some blurb that estate agents tend to put in about themselves, quite rightly, a lot of consumers think, I don't care. I don't really care that you've got 97 branches. I don't really care that you've got a branch in Dubai. Because all they're interested in is them and selling their house for the best price possible, in the quickest time frame possible, and negotiating the best deal with you. So surely that would be better to be done in a verbal setting, face-to-face ideally, video call if not, telephone if not. But are they really going to bother reading that when all they're really looking for is the photographs and the floor plan? And actually, I question if they even bother reading if a consumer even bothers reading the copy that's in a set of sales brochures or on a website. They simply look at the photographs and the floor plan. So therefore, it's a waste of your time.
No, I disagree. So there will be an element, of potential buyers, consumers, who don't look at everything and will just flick through and look at the pictures and then the floor plan, Or they'll go, that is the location that I want. And then they'll get there and they'll go, oh, it's only 3 bedrooms. We wanted 4 because we want to be on this road. And you just think, ooh. Then they clearly haven't read the blurb, have they? However, you could blame your potential team or agent on the fact they haven't qualified them correctly when they're booking in for a viewing. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. So I think that I'm going to give it a go to put some information about my company in, but I'm going to make sure that it passes the 2 tests, which is kind of what you just sort of spoke about, which is the so what if you've been established 175 years, and the which means, the which means. So the so what and which means. And I think if it can pass that test, I'm going to put it in and I'm going to see. And then your second question, was about brochures, wasn't it? Because I know some agents don't produce brochures anymore. A few agents in my neck of the woods and up and down the country, and you don't produce them. An amazing award-winning agent, lady estate agent, she doesn't use that either. She uses a Sprift report. There are other reports out there. So there's lots of different ways that we are doing the same job, but presenting our properties differently. Now, I find that I win business on the fact that I produce a beautiful digital brochure. Okay. I have examples when I go out and pitch of beautiful homes. And I try and do more imagery than text, but that wins me business, the style that I present my homes in. But the way you present your homes also wins you business, doesn't it? And you don't produce brochures.
No, I don't produce brochures. I save the dolphins. There's no need to chop down the trees and the rainforests and let people look predominantly online. It's interesting. I think it comes down to the demographic of your area. So I have had in the last 6 months, I've monitored it, 2 people asked for hard copy sets of details. Ironically, those 2 people then became sellers or clients or vendors, whatever you want to call them, of mine, bizarrely. But I've had 2 in the last 6 months. How many people would come into your branch and ask for hard copy sets of details?
I probably would have said 2 a week.
Okay, so the advanced, more developed, more educated Midlands realise that you can get everything online. Where down in Devon, no, I'm joking, where you've got the bucket and spade brigade that come in because I've always wanted to live in Devon, will come in on their week's holiday and ask for a set of sales details. Is that right?
No, not really. No, I think you've made a massive sweeping generalisation there. So we do the same as you, that we're not printing out. It's costly. I've got to look after every penny, every pound that's coming in because it's going out again straight away. And the more that we can save on the printing and all of that, the better. So we've switched to having QR codes. Obviously on every window card, so you can scan and it takes you a link straight through to that individual property details. The same on our wall of fame in the office with all our properties displayed on there. They can come in and have a QR code, but they cannot take anything away. They cannot take a set of property details away because, again, we're saving the dolphins. We're doing the green bit. And generally, that is absolutely fine. Occasionally, and we always go, oh my gosh, we'll get a right move inquiry. I don't know whether you've had this. And they'll go, please post details. And you go, oh my God, he wants us to post details. Jesus Christ, where is this? Is he living in the 1900s? And actually a quick telephone call to them to say, do you know what? We don't post details anymore, but I've got your email address and I've popped the full set across there. That works.
That's good.
Yeah? No kickback. No kickback at all.
Here's full circle for you. So if you go on to my online advert about a property, if that be with a portal within my website or a link that I send out, there is a tab on there that you can click in there that says about us. And that's a little bit like having a set of sales particulars, a big blurb about the agent within the sales particulars. So maybe we do go full circle on this conversation.
Yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? But some agents are not producing brochures at all. So you cannot download anything. And if you go to print something, it's just pages and pages and pages with a kind of floor plan and a few photos tacked on the end, which I don't think is presenting your clients' properties in the best way. It looks okay online, but when it comes to print, because people they like to have something tangible in their hands, don't they? But what do you do then, Martyn, on a viewing? Do you take an iPad? Do you say that this is the floor plan? Or what do you do when someone says, oh, Martyn, what about this? How big's the garage again? What are the dimensions of the garage? What's the plot size?
So I have all that information on my iPad and my phone.
Right,
and then in the property, I will either email it across somebody or share it with them or have a QR code that they can scan with their own phone to get their own details on their own phone. So they've got it there. I think just gifting a viewer 4 sheets of paper, which they roll up into a funnel and stick under their arm and never look at during the viewing. That's just a habit that we used to do. It's like a feeling we felt good because we were gifting something to the viewer as soon as they arrive. Hi, welcome, nitty. I brought you the sales particulars. Here's my business card. And then there, I turned up to a valuation for a gentleman who's just sold his print and marketing business, and I offered him a business card as soon as I walked through the door. He says, "Wow, these are old-fashioned. I did one with these years ago." I said, "Well, if you scan that little QR code, it'll put all my details on your phone, and then you can give me the business card back, and I'll use it somewhere else," which is exactly what he did. But it's interesting, isn't it? The concept of things changing and what is seen as old-fashioned by different people. And only this week, I have won an instruction because I didn't take out a load of brochures. I have lost the instruction because another agent took out a load of paper. So you can't please all of the people all of the time.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But if we don't adapt to change, then we will be extinct at some point. Yeah,
exactly. Got to adapt to change all the time and keep on top of it and be points of difference. Or absolutely. That takes us quite nicely onto the next topic of my conversation I want to talk to you about this week, which is conveyances. Tell me about the relationships that you have with your local conveyancers, please, Katie Griffin.
Well, conveyancers and solicitors, yeah. So the legal profession, I think, should be put in as one lump here. Yeah, okay. So I've got a bit of a ranty soapbox moment coming because it's really annoying me. I have a large patch that I cover, okay, and so I'm in my car driving quite a bit. I had an email saying, could I go and do a drive-by on a particular property because it was a probate situation, but couldn't get in because they hadn't got access arrangements, think there was a tenant, that sort of thing. No problem at all. I say I'm going on such and such a day. I go and do it. I do a full report back in like I do on a probate situation, caveating obviously that they haven't paid for it. It's not an RICS valuation and all that jazz. I get an email back from the solicitor saying, why have you not gone into the property? And I think, well, because you told me that I had to drive back. No, I want you to go back now and look in the property. Please arrange access. And you just think, hang on a minute. I've already spent, I've been to the property to do a drive-by on the outside. So that's taken me time. There is mileage driving to the property. So I've done that and I've come back again. I've reported to you. That's my time. You're now asking me to go again, spend more of my time so you can tick off the box of getting your 3 estate agents to give you the values to put in a probate. Appraisals, yeah? That has really annoyed me. And then a large part exchange moving with us company sends out those emails, don't they? And says, could you go and do a valuation? And I go, no problem at all. Absolutely fine. Obviously, you've got to report back within 30 seconds of locking the property up. Yeah. Take photos every direction up and down the street and round the corner and in the back and all of that. Yeah. And basically do their job for them while they're sat on a desk. Okay. So this particular one involved a property in one of the towns where I've got an office. But sadly, the key holder was actually in a completely different part of Devon, about 20 miles away. And my instructions were to leave my office where said property was, drive 20 miles to get the key, to come back to where my office was, to look at the property, to then drive 20 miles back again to drop the key off to come back again. And when I explained that this would be 20, 40, 80-mile round journey plus my time, they were so, do you want the listing? And I just emailed back and actually, do you know what? If you can sort out alternative arrangement for the keys, I'm more than happy to inspect and give you my opinion. But I will not drive 80 miles unless you're prepared to pay. And I got an email back going, don't worry, another 2 agents will do that. So fill your boots. So again, we are being taken for and doing stuff for free. And we've got to just stand up and go, no, we're not prepared to do this.
I love it when you get ranty. It's probably a ranty show today, isn't it? But think about this. I mean, I kind of feel for the conveyancers because you imagine, right, when they come to completion day and they've got their invoices out and they see the estate agent's fee, which is thousands of pounds for some estate agents, and they've earned £2.50. You know, it's I get it. It's difficult, isn't it? Because the conveyancing fee collapsed 15 years ago and has never recovered. And the problem being is that now, certainly a report that I was sent through, which I think, I'm not entirely sure who produced the report, so I'm not going to quote who I thought it was a report, turned around and said that something like 50% of people, if they're an aspiring lawyer, wouldn't go into conveyancing. Well, presumably that's because it doesn't pay very well and it's hard work. So there's a fundamental
Bold
problem.
Legal Group. Bold Legal Group that was. It came out yesterday, I think.
Great report, which I'm very happy to share. You sent it to me, so I'm sure you could share it too. But there's some interesting information in there. Just to quote some of the things in there. What do you see as currently the key issues facing the residential conveyancers? Well, top of that was Building Safety Act 2022, which I think is cladding, isn't it? Which there can't be that many that do that. Land registry delays, that's a bit of a shame because that's another industry problem. AML and compliance burden, well, estate agents have to do that also. Standards of conveyancing, 105 people, which I think was about the fifth or sixth highest issue. Well, we have that issue. We feel the same about that. So I could kind of see where the problem. There we go. If you were an aspiring lawyer today, would you look at entering the conveyance profession? 33 people said yes. 169 conveyancers said no. Please, somebody within that, at the head of that industry, needs to start saying, give some advice on how it could start becoming better, surely, because we haven't got enough conveyancers to deal with the transactions that we've got. And they're a vital component within this process. And the issue that we've got is until we modify the process or do something about it, nothing's going to improve. The thing that concerned me the most was question 5, which is to what extent do you think digital property marketing steering groups will impact the practice of residential conveyancing in the foreseeable future? 89 people said not sure. 42 people said I don't know about this. Where only 7 said very significantly. There doesn't seem to be any appetite from that report to change a dicky bird.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, isn't it? I mean, I've got transactions that are completing now, which were agreed in February. I mean, that is just shocking. And these are not long chains. We have to do something about it. I know you and I have been brainstorming and talking to a number of different companies about how we can possibly transact quicker, like the Gazelle's type of transaction. There are others out there that we've been kind of talking to and trying to work with as well, just to make it easier. It almost needs to be, I'm not saying, buying a house is like booking a holiday, but it almost needs to be, it's got to be easier. It's got to be easier to transact. It's got to be more transparent. We've got to get through this process quicker, particularly when there isn't long change. There's only 2 people in a transaction, for instance, So
here is my judgment on everything at this moment in time. People want to work with things that are easy.
Yeah.
The least resistant possible. And that if that's booking a marketing page with an estate agent, if that's transacting with a conveyancer, if that is buying a car, if that is taking a takeaway or going to get a tank of oil that you have had problems with in the past. Whatever the easiest way possible, you have to make it easy for your consumers to do business with you.
However, do not send your clients do you want to catch up with me? Here's my calendar. Book yourself in, because that irritates me, that Calendly thing. So don't do that, which lots of suppliers do, because it irritates the hell out of me. It really does. Yes. Martyn, you haven't said about rating your week. I am so sorry. We got straight into our podcast and I didn't ask you about how you are. How are you, Martyn? Rate your week.
My week is without doubt a 9.5. Purely because it's defiance, because there's some people in the world that are trying to make it more like a 4. So without doubt, my week's 9.5. But listen, what's more important is, what did the blanket say as it fell off the bed?
I don't know. What did the blanket say as it fell off the bed?
Oh, shit. Thank you, Jan Heitch, for that one.
Oh, I don't know what to say.
The sad thing is there's people in my office. There's people in my office today while we're doing this podcast live, and even they're not laughing.
Oh dear. So I read something quite interesting this week that I know would really, really kind of appeal to you, and quite a few people that were on our or who listen to us on a regular basis. So there is a new thing coming out, okay, and it's called kidulting. Well, it's not a new thing, because I know that you've been doing this for a while, and it's basically where grown-ups want to kind of revert back to having a bit of fun. So this is a new cultural trend, kidulting, and it's adults engaging in light-hearted activities traditionally designed for children before anyone says anything. All right, so it's a booming industry apparently, and it's
what sort of thing? Give examples.
Well, creative and silly experiences. So it might be like a ball pool or
Paint a pot.
Well, yes, I suppose so. Colour changing lights. There's a pop-up interactive museum which is in Madrid and in London, so you can take advantage of that. And you can basically go in and do all kinds of like an adult indoor play area, I suppose. You can zoom down a slide. You can have glitter put on your face. You can have your hair plaited. Well, a bit like going to a festival, actually. But it's in under one roof in a pop-up way, because life is stressful, and it's saying that you don't get a chance to do this as an adult. However, I would beg to differ, because whenever I used to take my kids to the indoor play area, which I must say was horrific because it just used to smell of cheesy feet and farts, but I would regularly go down the slide and into the ball pool because I used to find that quite fun and exciting. So but this is a new phenomenon anyways. I just thought you might be interested that you could have a go while you adults act like children.
The Sorday and Harry's Christmas do is sorted.
Well, I don't know whether we could relate that back to our industry where adults act like children, because I think we could on a regular basis, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Only 12 Saturdays, Martyn. Only 12 Saturdays till what?
Oh, not till Christmas.
Till the end of the year.
12 Saturdays till the end of the year. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
That's it. Just it's September next week. It's September next week already.
So what are you going to start and continue that you've been doing in 2023 as you go into the latter part of the selling season? That's just a challenging question of the week, which you didn't know was coming, didn't it?
I didn't. No. What am I going to stop? I'm going to stop doing things for free. I'm going to stop, as we've talked about, where a solicitor, conveyancer, home exchange company says, go and do this. And you actually, not only is it on with you, you've got a race to get it on with before anyone else, and you're on with at least 4 other agents, and it's first past the post. And if you have a sale agreed, you have to tell everyone, you have to declare what the offer is, so someone else can come with £10 more and we'll take the higher offer. No, thank you. I don't want to do that anymore. It is tough. It is tight. We've got to control our costs.
So you're going to start looking at making sure that you take on solely quality instructions.
So I'm going to stop doing those things. I'm going to start making sure that we have got sales ready and locked in transactions. How I'm going to do that, I'm not quite certain yet, but that is what I'm going to start. And I'm going to continue trying to build my relationships, or continue building my relationships with my local solicitors to make sure that they're the ones that will say, yes, we can get this over the line in this many weeks. We can do this. Because I am finding, and I don't know whether you are, that we're actually having to do a whole lot more now, particularly with surveys being slammed. I'm holding up, just so you know, because see what it is, 82-page structural or level 3 survey for a little cottage where the first-time buyers have literally run away because they are very concerned about all the issues with the property. And this is actually the 3rd survey that I've had in as many days, where the surveyor has said, I'm putting it as a 3, your electrics, because I haven't seen any electric safety information. I know.
Okay, so next week, let's talk about surveys next week. I think there's a good chunk to talk about that.
But there can be a really scary survey, but actually it's those with experience and professionalism that you sit down and go, do you know what, let's have a chat through. Actually, no, it's not a 3. The boiler's 3 years old. It's just that the sellers haven't given the certification. We can do that, tick. Yes. Yeah, it's providing confidence in purchasing, isn't it? And selling as well, because if a sale falls through, who gets the blame? The agent gets the blame.
Yeah.
Right, well, I think that just about wraps us up for the week. We've covered a huge myriad of things. We've talked about brochures, yes or no, should we or shouldn't we? We've talked about conveyancers, yes or no, should we or shouldn't we? And we've talked about we really can't do it for free anymore. We really need to stand up and be counted. And I think we've been a little bit controversial in that front. So we'll be back next week. I'm wishing everybody who's got children that have had GCSE or having GCSE results the very, very best. And we will see you next week. Take care. Have a good one.